Between 2014 and 2017, Barcelona didn't just dominate European football, they absolutely shattered it. And at the heart of this destruction was the most lethal attacking trio the game has ever seen: Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. MSN, 364 goals in just 3 seasons together. Let that sink in for a second. 364 goals. But here's the thing. This wasn't supposed to happen. Neymar was meant to flop in Europe. Suarez was literally banned from football when Barcelona signed him. And Messi? Well, Messi was carrying an entire team on his back, and everyone thought he was about to burn out. So how did these 3 players come together to create the most devastating attack in football history? How did they break every record, win every trophy, and make defending against Barcelona feel absolutely impossible? Stick around, because I'm about to break down exactly how MSN became the trio that broke European football, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why we'll never see anything like this ever again. Let's rewind to 2013. Barcelona had just won La Liga with a record-breaking 100 points. But here's the problem. They were a one-man team. Messi scored 60 goals that season. 60! The next highest scorer, David Villa, with just 16. That's a 44-goal difference between your top scorer and your second top scorer. That's not a team. That's one genius carrying everyone else on his back. And it showed when they faced Bayern Munich in the Champions League. 7-0 on aggregate. Absolutely humiliated, destroyed, embarrassed on the biggest stage. The message was clear. Barcelona needed help, and they needed it fast. Enter Neymar, 22 years old, tearing up the Brazilian league with Santos and being called the next big thing. But here's what people forget. There were massive doubts. Could this kid who dominated in Brazil actually handle the pressure of European football? Could he play alongside Messi without their egos clashing? Could he adapt to Barcelona's style? The critics were loud, the doubters were everywhere, but Barcelona didn't care. They dropped 57 million euros on him in June 2013, and suddenly they had the second piece of the puzzle. That first season, it was rough. David Villa, their second top scorer, left for Atletico Madrid. Thiago went to Bayern Munich. The squad was aging, and even with Neymar, something still wasn't clicking. They made it to the Champions League quarterfinals and got knocked out by Atletico Madrid. They lost the Copa del Rey final to Real Madrid in El Clásico, and then, on the final day of the season, they needed to beat Atletico Madrid to win La Liga. And they couldn't do it. 1-1 draw. Atletico won the league. Barcelona finished the season with nothing. 0 trophies. Messi and Neymar had failed, but Barcelona's board knew exactly what was missing. They needed a killer, a ruthless, cold-blooded number 9 who could finish chances, who could be physical, who could do the dirty work that Messi and Neymar didn't want to do. They needed someone who was hungry, someone who was desperate to prove himself on the biggest stage. And they found him. But there was one massive problem. He was banned from football. Luis Suarez, the man who had just bitten Giorgio Chiellini at the 2014 World Cup. Yeah, you heard that right. Bitten on the shoulder in front of millions of people. FIFA slapped him with a 4-month ban from all football activity. He couldn't play, he couldn't train with the team, he couldn't even enter a stadium. But Barcelona, they didn't care. They saw a player who had almost single-handedly won Liverpool the Premier League, a player who had scored 31 goals in 33 games, a player who was absolutely lethal in front of goal, so they paid £75 million for a player who couldn't even kick a ball for 4 months. Absolute madness. But it was genius. October 25th, 2014, Suarez finally made his debut against Real Madrid in El Clásico, and even though Barcelona lost 3-1 that day, something had changed. The final piece of the puzzle was in place. Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, MSN, the trio that would go on to terrorize Europe for the next 3 years. Now, before we get into how they absolutely destroyed everyone, I need you to do me a favor. If you're enjoying this breakdown, if you love learning about the tactics and the stories behind football's greatest moments, smash that like button right now. Seriously, it helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more content like this. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, so let's talk about what made MSN so special, because it wasn't just about having 3 world-class players. Plenty of teams have tried that and failed miserably. Remember Galacticos 2.0 at Real Madrid? Yeah, exactly. So what was different about MSN? First, the chemistry. These 3 genuinely liked each other. There were no egos, no jealousy, no fighting over who took penalties or who got the spotlight. Messi was already established as the best player in the world, so there was no question about hierarchy. Suarez was just happy to be playing at the highest level after his ban. And Neymar was young, hungry, and learning from the best. They celebrated each other's goals like they were their own. They set each other up constantly, and most importantly, they understood their roles perfectly. Messi was the playmaker, dropping deep, threading passes, creating chances out of nothing. Suarez was the number 9, making runs, finishing chances, being physical with defenders. And Neymar was the wild card, the unpredictable one, the guy who could beat 3 defenders and create something from nothing. It was the perfect balance, the perfect triangle, the perfect storm. And then there was Luis Enrique's tactics. He set up Barcelona in a 4-3-3 that gave MSN complete freedom. They could interchange positions, they could drift wide, they could drop deep. They could do whatever they wanted as long as they kept creating chances. And behind them, a midfield of Busquets, Rakitic, and Iniesta, controlling the tempo, dictating the game, feeding the front 3 with perfect passes. And at the back, Piqué, Mascherano, Alves, and Alba, providing stability and width. It was a complete team, but make no mistake, MSN was the heartbeat. The 2014-15 season was when everything clicked. Barcelona started winning, and winning, and winning. They went on an 11-game winning streak after that El Clasico defeat. Suarez was scoring for fun, Neymar was getting better every game, and Messi was doing Messi things. By March, they were top of La Liga, still in the Champions League, and still in the Copa del Rey. The treble was on. March 22, 2015, the second El Clasico of the season. Barcelona needed to make a statement, and boy did they deliver. 2-1 victory at the Camp Nou. Suarez scored a brace, Neymar was unplayable, and Messi pulled the strings. Real Madrid were stunned. Barcelona were 4 points clear at the top of the table, and the momentum was unstoppable. Then came the Champions League quarterfinals. Paris Saint-Germain. The first leg at the Parc des Princes ended 1-1, but the second leg, absolute domination. Barcelona won 3-1 with Neymar scoring 1 and Suarez getting another. PSG didn't stand a chance. Next up, Bayern Munich, the team that had humiliated Barcelona 2 years earlier, the team that had beaten them 7-0 on aggregate. This was personal. May 6, 2015, Camp Nou. Barcelona 3, Bayern Munich 0. Messi scored 2, Neymar got 1, and Bayern were sent packing. The second leg didn't even matter. Barcelona won 3-2, but they were already through. They were in the Champions League final, and nothing was going to stop them. But first, La Liga. May 17, 2015. Barcelona beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 to secure the league title. 1 trophy down, 2 to go. Then, May 30th, the Copa del Rey final. Barcelona 3, Athletic Bilbao 1. Messi scored one of the greatest solo goals you'll ever see, dribbling from the halfway line, leaving defenders on the floor and slotting it past the keeper. 2 trophies down, 1 to go. June 6, 2015, Berlin, the Champions League final. Barcelona versus Juventus. The treble was on the line, and MSN delivered. Rakitic scored early, Juventus equalized, but then Suarez put Barcelona ahead, and Neymar sealed it in the final minutes. 3-1, champions of Europe. The treble was complete. Barcelona had won everything, and MSN had scored 122 goals in a single season. 122 goals. It was the highest scoring trio in football history, and they were just getting started. The 2015-16 season was supposed to be even better. Barcelona started strong, winning the UEFA Super Cup and the Spanish Super Cup. They were on fire, but then cracks started to appear. Messi picked up a knee injury in September and was out for 6 weeks. If this had happened in 2013, Barcelona would have collapsed. But now, they had Suarez and Neymar, and they didn't just survive without Messi, they thrived. Suarez went on an absolute tear, scoring goal after goal after goal. By the end of November, Barcelona were top of La Liga, and Suarez was the top scorer. When Messi came back, he didn't miss a beat. The three of them just kept scoring, and scoring, and scoring. By the time the season ended, MSN had scored 131 goals. 131. They had broken their own record from the previous season. Absolutely insane. Suarez finished as the top scorer in La Liga with 40 goals. Messi had 41 in all competitions. Neymar had 31. They were unstoppable. But here's the thing. They didn't win the treble. They won La Liga and the Copa del Rey, but they got knocked out of the Champions League by Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals. It was disappointing, sure, but they had still won the double. And MSN had just put up the greatest goal-scoring numbers in football history. The 2016-17 season was when things started to change. Barcelona were still incredible, don't get me wrong. They were still winning games, still scoring goals, still dominating La Liga. But something was different. The magic was fading. Neymar was starting to feel like he was living in Messi's shadow. He wanted to be the main man, the star, the guy who won the Ballon d'Or. And as long as he was at Barcelona, that was never going to happen. Barcelona started the season strong, but by the end, they were struggling. They lost La Liga to Real Madrid on the final day of the season. They got knocked out of the Champions League by Juventus in the quarterfinals. The only trophy they won was the Copa del Rey. It was still a successful season by most standards, but for Barcelona, for MSN, it felt like failure. And then, on August 3rd, 2017, everything fell apart. Neymar left. Paris Saint-Germain paid his release clause of 222 million euros. And just like that, MSN was over. The greatest attacking trio in football history had lasted just 3 seasons. 3 incredible, record-breaking, trophy-filled seasons. But it was over. So what was the legacy of MSN? Let's break it down. 364 goals in 3 seasons, 9 trophies, including 1 treble, 1 double, and 1 Copa del Rey. They broke every goal-scoring record imaginable. They made defending against Barcelona feel impossible. They created moments of magic that we'll be talking about for decades. And most importantly, they showed us what football could be when 3 of the best players in the world put their egos aside and played for each other. But here's the real question. Why will we never see anything like MSN again? Because football has changed. The financial landscape is different. Players move more frequently. Egos are bigger. And most importantly, it's almost impossible to get 3 players of that caliber to stay together for more than a couple of seasons. Neymar left because he wanted to be the main man. Suarez eventually declined and left for Atletico Madrid. And Messi? Well, Messi eventually left Barcelona too, ending an era that will never be replicated. MSN wasn't just a trio, it was a moment in time, a perfect storm of talent, chemistry, tactics, and timing. And for 3 glorious seasons, they broke European football in the most beautiful way possible. So here's my question for you. Who was the best player in MSN? Was it Messi, the playmaker and the genius? Was it Suarez, the ruthless goal scorer who did the dirty work? Or was it Neymar, the wild card who could change a game in an instant? Drop a comment below and let me know who you think was the most important player in the greatest attacking trio of all time. And if you made it this far, you're a real one. Seriously, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we've got so much more content coming your way. We're breaking down the tactics, the stories, and the moments that made football history. And if you want to see more videos like this, check out the one on screen right now, where we break down how Zidane's Real Madrid conquered Europe. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'll see you in the next one.